It's Friday at noon, which means it's time for Another View. On today's program, in search of African American teachers. Once upon a time, teachers in the Black community were held in high esteem and were role models, inspiring others to follow in their footsteps. So why is there a shortage of Black teachers in the classroom today, especially African American male teachers? We'll talk about a program that is determined to inspire the next generation of African Americans to careers as educators. It's all a part of the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen initiative. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee, and Another View is next, right after this news from NPR.
Discussing the issues and celebrating the successes of the African American community. This is Another View.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. WHRV has embarked on a multi-year nationwide Corporation for Public Broadcasting initiative to improve on-time graduation rates and lower dropout rates. It's called American Graduate Let's Make It Happen. Each month on Another View, we take an in-depth look at issues critical to the academic success of our children. So this is what I'd like you to do, audience. I want you to sit back, close your eyes for a moment, and think about the teacher who made a difference in your life, especially the one who inspired a career path. Now think about this. Did that teacher look like you? America's first Black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders, said in a New York Times Magazine interview that you can't be what you don't see. Meaning minority children who are not exposed to professionals of color may not consider certain career paths. In terms of education, there is a program at Old Dominion University that is determined to inspire African Americans to come back to the classroom. It's called the Teacher Immersion Residency Program, and here to talk about it is the program's coordinator, Dr. Megan Britt. Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm very well, Barbara. Thank you very much for this forum today.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Along with program participants Keith Goodman, who is a Norview High School physics teacher. Hi, Keith.
Hi.
I can't wait to talk to you because you're really in the minority. Cabrillya Crumm, a Granby High School English teacher.
Hello.
Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, great. Thank you. And Tashiana Verna, a chemistry teacher at Norview.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? I am so excited about this program. Now, first, let me make it clear to our audience that this program is for everyone who wants to be a teacher, but you are concerned, Megan, that you have not had a lot of African American participation.
That's exactly right, Barbara. One of the functions of our grant, and we operate for 5 years. This is our last year of applicants. Mm-hmm. We've never had more than one applicant a year who has been an African American, and that's not okay. We're actually looking for individuals who are underrepresented in the classroom, and that means right now folks who are non-white. Mm-hmm. And male. We'd love to get a couple more males in there as well. We're doing okay with that.
So when Keith came in, he was the only one, right?
We got the double with Keith. Very excited to have Keith in the program. But thank you just for giving us this opportunity to say that we need help. And if anybody who's listening today knows somebody who's thought about being a classroom teacher but didn't have an education path, that's the other key. We want folks who are transitioning from a different kind of life. Mm-hmm. And we're making it possible for them to become a teacher because of the incentives that our program offers.
Now, you are training teachers specifically for Portsmouth and Norfolk public schools right now. That's what the program is about.
They are our partners. They were very good to us. And when we wrote the grant so many years ago, we were looking specifically at those districts and specific schools within those districts because they were considered high needs. And that tends to mean that the test scores hadn't been where folks had hoped, or that the socioeconomic situations were such that they qualified.
Mm-hmm. So the program, tell us a little bit about how it works. You come in.
Absolutely. We run a one-year program from August to August, and it begins with what I call teacher boot camp. We give you everything that you need to survive that first couple of days of school. But the key to the success of the program is that we match our energetic spirits, the folks who are coming back to want to be a teacher, with veterans in the field. They learn as an apprentice under a master teacher. And we rely on the great teachers of Norfolk and Portsmouth to give their time. Now, we do give them, we compensate them for their efforts, but they are taking someone, a total rookie, under their wing, and they're showing them the ropes from beginning to end. I love the approach because, well, as much as I enjoy book learning, I have to say there's no other way to learn to become a teacher other than seeing it unfold day by day. You take the kids from September to June, we say, and you see everything in between. That's so much more rich of an experience than you could have if you were in a traditional path, which is about 6 weeks in a classroom.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call to join our conversation, especially if you've ever thought about going into the classroom. What has stopped you from going into the classroom, and would this program interest you? Give us a call, 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Now, Keith, you were according to my notes here, former physics patent examiner with the United States Department of Commerce. Why the classroom?
Why the classroom? Well, when I was in undergraduate at Norfolk State University, I already thought about teaching, and it just wasn't right at that time when I actually did graduate. I hadn't taken the praxis test that you need, and so the path at that time wasn't right. So I decided to go and work, and that's what I did. But if you can imagine, sitting in an office every day, day by day, and never talking to anyone for the most part. And that was hard to take.
Nobody but your computer, huh?
Nobody but your computer, and the attorney that calls you, every so often. And that was hard to take at times. And I figured, okay, I want a way to use my skills that I had and to have the interaction and feel like I'm making a difference. And at the patent office, it was a little bit too much legal work and not the interaction, not that change that I hoped that I could make. And so I decided, okay, I thought about teaching an undergraduate, so here's the program, why not give it a shot? So that's what I did.
How'd you find out about the program?
Actually, my sister, she's a graduate of ODU, and she received a letter saying that the program, was starting. And she knew that I was interested in teaching. And so she said, okay, Keith, you should, check the program out and apply. And I said, okay, well, it looks good. And she said, yeah, go ahead and apply. And I actually did.
So we didn't get his sister, but we got him.
So my sister, she was the one that told me.
That's great. We actually do send letters to recent graduates who are science, math, English, or history, political science graduates. And they can't have had an education experience, a background in education. And because we really are looking for content experts, so it can be a transition program. ODU has lots of programs for folks who want to take a traditional path. This is a little bit more of a unique approach. So Keith's sister, what was she, science, math, English?
Yeah, she was biology major.
She was she would have gotten a letter from us, right? A graduate in biology. We would have loved to have had her, but we're thrilled to have you.
Now, Cabrillya, how did you get into the program? What was your background prior to?
Well, prior to the program, I had studied at the University of Virginia, and I studied English, and it was around my 4th year, and I knew I wanted to teach, but I didn't know what avenue I wanted to go on. And my mother, she saw an email about the program, and she was like, well, why don't you apply, And so I applied, and now I'm teaching. And teaching is something that I've always kind of considered. It's always kind of been on the back burner, which I'm sure is the case for a lot of the listeners today. But it was definitely something, like, once I got to college, I was thinking to myself, like, there are a lot of things that I don't know, and I wish teachers had taught me when I was in high school as well as middle school and elementary school. So I'm like, why don't I become a teacher so I can make sure that the future generation is equipped with these different skills and knowledge that they need for when they get to college and as well as the workplace. So that's the reason why I did this program. Why you decided
to go into the program. Tashiana, how did you get here?
I'm actually different from the other two, which is very interesting. I originally wanted to go to medical school, and then I had...
and you said, I'll go into the classroom instead.
Yes. All 4 years, we were required to tutor in the Genemus program, and so...
You're a graduate of Norfolk State University,
I'm a graduate
too.
of Norfolk State.
Okay.
And,
you don't have to be a graduate of Norfolk State to get into the program. However, as our producer, Lisa Godley's back there, because she's also a graduate of NSU, obviously it helped in these instances. Go ahead.
So originally I had wanted to go to medical school, but over, I think it was my sophomore year, I was a little wishy-washy about it because the commitment that you would have to put into your career, I wanted a more family friendly career. And so I was a little in between, wasn't really sure. And then my advisor had talked to me about a program over at ODU that was a year long, and you can get your master's in education and your teacher licensure. And so I was like, oh, well, I don't really want to teach. I don't know. I consider it, kids are bad.
Now, you're a chemistry teacher, though.
Yes.
So how has your experience been in the classroom?
So far, it's been really, really well. And
she lights up a room. She lights up a room. That one does. Yes.
Now, but this is your first year in the classroom, correct?
This is my first year. So I'm actually with I'm the rookie teacher with the mentor for the year long. And so I took over my first class, and it's going very, very well. I mean, even though every day is not a perfect day, but overall it's going very well. And I mean, I really like it. I really like what I'm doing. So it's awesome.
So of the three of you, and Megan, I'm going to include you in this too, because while you're not in the classroom now, well,
I've been in the classroom.
You have been in the classroom for 20 years. What was the most surprising thing about being a classroom teacher that you found? Anyone who wants to start? Tashiana?
The most surprising thing for me, especially because I did tutor general chemistry all 4 years. And so most of the material I know like the back of my hand. But being able to take this one-on-one session with someone and be able to break it down and take time to explain it to them, to now being in front of a classroom and having to explain what you know to 25 or so students, and then ensure that at least most of them understand. It's like, I don't understand how else to explain nomenclature. I'm sorry. and it's rough because all their faces, just you can tell they don't get it, and it's rough trying to figure out what to do to make the transition. Okay, this is what I know. This is how I learned it. Now, how can I take that and translate it so now you can know what I knew? And so that's the most interesting.
What about you, Cabrillya?
I would say the most surprising thing is the work that I have to do as a teacher requires a lot of your time to make sure the lessons are good and that the kids are actually grasping the concepts that you're trying to get across to them. I mean, a lot of people try to, say that teaching is a career where you have to just essentially go in the classroom and babysit the kid, but it's much more than that. You have to make sure that the kids are reaching goals and learning what they need to learn, and it's a lot of hours, and I would definitely say the program has prepared me, because during my first year as a student teacher, we had to devote so many hours to the content work as well as the classroom. So
it's much more than 8:30 to 3 or whatever the school hours are now. In terms of the preparation. Keith, as a male teacher, particularly as an African American male teacher, were there any surprises for you first, and then I have another question for you?
I feel like she was reading my mind. The most surprising thing, I guess, is the commitment that you make and that every teacher that I see is making. It's not a 9-to-5 job at all. And so I remember my mentor teacher said that when you go into the classroom, treat it almost like a performance, and you want to have the very best performance every class, every day. And so that means that your students are hopefully learning, that they're engaged, and that takes a lot of sacrifice and work to make sure that you have lessons that the students can relate to, that they can understand, and that they see progress in their own work. And it takes a lot of commitment. And teachers, they stay after school, and of course I knew that, but I mean, they really work. They work with the students in the evening, the coaching, teachers do that. They participate in all the different programs that the students are involved in, and it takes a lot of time. And that is very instrumental in the student success, but it's a lot of work.
There was a 2011 report by the Children's Defense Fund that found that 17% of public school students nationwide are African American, but less than 2% of teachers are African American males. What's the deal with black men being in the classroom?
Yeah, Keith.
I think there are a lot of factors. One is that, of course, you have a small pool to pull from in the first place. Half of black males, some are incarcerated or either don't have the education in the first place, or at least a college education.
So the pool is small to begin with.
And then after you have that pool, well, then you have to think about the salary. It's not like you're going to start off making $70,000 a year. That's not the case at all. And so people weigh those factors, and decide, okay, well, maybe there's something else I could be doing. Maybe, I don't want to teach. That's what people think. And so I think the pool is small from, for those reasons.
What, speaking of the salary, because I'm sure that you all have colleagues who go, oh, you're a teacher. Oh, you're a teacher. I mean, in terms of making money. Is it about making money? Tashiana?
For me, I know it's not. It was interesting because, like I said, I had wanted to go on the medical school track. And because of that, a lot of the people who knew me and knew that that's what I wanted to do, when I told them I was going to start teaching, they were like, why? Why are you going to do that? Mm-hmm. No, you just need to stick it out, go to med school. And I was just like, no, that's not where my heart is anymore. And so, but with me, I don't have any student loans because for undergrad, I was in a scholarship program that paid for that. And so basically what I make is what I make. And it's not like I have to put it out. There's people who may go on these other tracks with higher paying salaries, but how much of that are you paying back to student loans? How much of that, if you are a doctor, are you paying for malpractice insurance and things like that? So there are a lot of other factors in it that it's like, okay, well, the salary for teaching isn't that bad.
Megan, there has to be much more of a commitment than making money
well,
to
there
be a
has
teacher.
to, and I have to say it is a calling for people. If you just ask a teacher why you're doing this, and that's really the big joke about, they say about giving teachers extra bonus pay for high test scores, and we giggle about it because it's not like we're going to work any harder, right? I mean, we're going to stay the professionals that we are, and so to be incentivized by cash, it just doesn't work. I will say the reason that Tashiana is going to come out of this program without a graduate student loan is that we pay for her college and we give her a $25,000 stipend. So it is, the transition to teaching is so doable with the TIR program. I don't know why more people don't want to try.
Don't want to try it. Don't want to try it. Well, we will find out. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Steve joins us from Suffolk. Hi, Steve. You're on the air.
Hi. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What's your comment?
Oh, my comment is you asked the question of what prevented you from potentially teaching in the future.
Right.
And I thought about that, and I'm a retired military, 30 years, electrical engineer, computer science. But my concern, I've talked to my wife about it, and she doesn't think I should do this because kids are not like it was when I grew up, supposedly. We all stood straight and everybody respected the teacher. And, I have some teacher friends, and they say the classrooms of today are not like they used to be.
They're not lying to you, Steve.
So,
your friends are right.
So my question is, a comment is, how do you deal with that? I mean, what kind of training or how do you deal with those issues?
Okay, let's get our panel to respond. I'll start with you, Megan.
Thank you. Steve, your friends are correct. Kids change, and they change drastically about every 5 years. And when you're saying what is one of the things is true to, it surprises you, that surprised me, is that they are different. What they're passionate about changes. They're still energetic little bodies who want to know, how to make it through this world. But so you have to keep a young perspective, and I think that's one of the joys of teaching is that you're in on the latest everything. But what do you do when they don't act like you did? Well, in TIR we have a behavior a classroom management expert, we call him, and he helps us get real about what we'll be seeing. We actually ask new applicants to go into the buildings to see these students, these students who are different than we remember. If you love children, if you love kids, and you understand that but until they're 25 years old, that prefrontal cortex is not fully formed, and they'll be doing a number of goofy things until that time, you understand better where they are developmentally. And if we had to be honest, some of us really we weren't that stellar.
We weren't
ourselves.
that stellar, exactly. But that is a concern of a lot of people who say, if I had to go into a classroom, I may say something or do something that will be inappropriate to that student because I'm not going to take the back talk or whatever. What kind of experience have you had, Keith?
Well, first I would say yes. Try always to filter your thoughts and comments. But yes, you find yourself at times where there's certain things you want to say, but you can't say that. It's inappropriate to say. But I would say one of the biggest things is to establish the relationships with your students, and so then you are able to see what they're thinking, how they're feeling, so you can relate to them that way. And so you don't worry about so much, how, what they're going to say back to you. You just know that what you're doing is appropriate and that is correct. And, you assume that, okay, they'll come along eventually. That's the problem.
And Cabrillya, I hear you over there going, yes, I agree with
you
that.
definitely have to establish relationships with the kids, because it definitely allows you to get across that information that you want to get across to them. And you also have to be flexible. Like, if you have a student who likes to stand up and make a lot of noise in class, and give him some type of assignment where he stands up and makes a lot of noise, but he's still achieving those learning goals he needs to achieve. So like I said, you just have to be flexible and think out of the box as a teacher. Yeah.
And you also have to realize that you are in control of the classroom, right?
Oh, yes.
Right.
I mean, that is supposed to be what your job is. Do you believe, as Dr. Joycelyn Elders said, that students need to see teachers who look like them in order to be successful? Somebody take the question.
Well, I'll say that for some students, it may make a difference. But I would say at the same time, I'm not sure that it matters for every student. I see, plenty of colleagues, as long as they're committed to what they're doing, they're passionate about what they're doing, then the students do just fine. And so color is not really an issue. But I'm sure for some, maybe they can relate better to certain teachers. Maybe they come, have a certain perspective on certain topics. And so maybe they can reach certain students that way. So yes, it may be a factor, but across the board is not the one deciding factor.
The only factor.
Right.
I mean, I would say it definitely has its benefits, because I know I can walk in the classroom and say certain things to my students because of my skin tone, where other teachers in my building can't say it to them, and there will be a riot in the classroom.
I'm going to need a for example on that. As a resident white girl on the panel, I need to know what this is.
Sit down. If one of my kids is acting very much out of character, I can tell them, well, the way you're acting is just not classy at all. You need to, tighten up and try to be a better person, and they will be able to understand where I'm coming from when I say that to them, because, I am a black female, and a lot of them view me as someone who is upstanding and whatnot. So they wouldn't get mad. But I know if another teacher of another race came in and said that, like, oh, I'm not classy, and
so they would take it as that person being insulting to them as opposed to.
Yes.
I'm so glad she said that, because I was afraid for a moment that, like Eddie Murphy's mother, she was hitting people with a shoe. I didn't know what she was doing in that room. But no, okay. And she is classy.
But Megan, I mean, what do you, because you are the resident non-African American in the room right now, but in terms of establishing those relationships, again, it does go back to what Keith said. Do you think?
I agree with him completely. And one of the things we ask our teachers to do is when they meet the kids, take an interest inventory. Ask them who their favorite bands are, their teams, their athletes, what are they interested? Do they play a sport? Do they play an instrument? Find out what's big in their world, and then try to make the connections.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. If you are a teacher and you're in the classroom, give us a call. Tell us what your experience is like. Amy joins us from Portsmouth. Hi, Amy. You're on the air. Hello, Amy?
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Hey. This is Amy. I'm one of the TIRs. Just wanted to say hi to everyone on. And we have a question for you guys.
And she has a question. What's your question?
Yeah, we wanted to know if you guys would do it again if you had the chance.
That's a great question. Okay, well, we'll find out what they have to say. Cabrillya, I'm going to start with you.
If I had to do it again, I would definitely do it again. I mean, even though there's a lot of hours and a lot of lack of sleep, I really enjoy working with the students. I mean, working with adults it's fine, but adults can be a little difficult too. So being with the kids is very refreshing. You get to learn something new from them every day. So yeah.
What about you, Tashiana? Would you do it again?
Well, she's doing it now.
Oh, you're doing it now. That's true. I forgot.
She's ours.
So you're not sure.
Come back to me in August.
Come back to you in August. What about you, Keith?
Definitely. Every class is a new experience. Every day is something new. You never see the same thing twice. And so that's a new and fresh every single day, pretty much.
Amy, thanks so much for your call. What do you all say about people who say, your job is not to teach, it's really to be a social worker. It's to be a babysitter. It's to be
a priest, the rabbi.
Yes, and everything
it's the
else.
Parent. It's the coach. It's the big brother, the big sister. It is an all-encompassing job.
Yeah.
It is, and that's why it's exhausting. Every teacher I know goes home and takes a nap, because it's mentally draining. You're the the front line to DSS when the kids need help, mandated reporter, you are a huge part of their upbringing. Mm-hmm. It's a tremendous responsibility. And that's why finding folks of great character and incredibly intelligent people is the goal of our program.
Let's go to James in Virginia Beach. Hi, James. You're in the air.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I'm James. I'm a retired Navy officer, 21 plus years. I'm also African American. The funny thing is that when a bunch of us retired from the military, many of us did want to come out and teach. But Virginia basically said, you have to go back to school. And you're walking out with master's degrees, working on doctorate, but you can't teach. But we could go and be an adjunct professor for ODU, Hampton University, one of the others, but we can't teach.
James,
why is that?
James,
okay, go ahead, Megan.
I speak to your concern because I love ex-military. I think you guys have a tremendous amount of experiences that you could bring to the classroom. In fact, I hope he's listening today. Tim Jones is one of our Afghanistan 2-time tour of Afghanistan. He's a veteran, and he's in our room right now. He does have an undergraduate degree from ODU. We play by the same rules that Virginia sets. Finding highly qualified teachers for the classroom, and someone else has set those criteria, which are to have an undergraduate degree in your subject and to have certain experiences. I want you to understand, if you pass a Praxis 2 and you come to me with transcripts that meet the state requirements to teach, I'd be very happy to take a look at you. I will speak specifically about history in Virginia. You guys do it better than anybody, and I've taught in a lot of states. There are about 51 credits that someone who wants to teach history has to have in order to get certified. But it's a moment of pride for Virginia histories. They do it better than everybody because they're more qualified than everybody. I really wish you wouldn't consider us as a barrier. You've had experiences that weren't traditional. That's why TIR is here. It's for people who have had non-traditional to help you get to.
So would you suggest then that he call you and find out more about the program?
James,
and take
I want to talk to you, James.
Okay. and as we talked about that, Megan, how do people reach you?
Thank you. You can go to the ODU webpage, and if you type in TIR, which stands for Teacher Immersion Residency, you'll get linked to us. You'll find information about what we look for in terms of our applicants. Now, I would love to serve anyone who wants to be in a classroom. I want to take anybody, make them a teacher. But the rules of the grant say you have to be a certain quality, and that means a 3.0 in your undergraduate major. We're playing with government money, and we have to prove that we're spending it the way they asked us to. Mm-hmm. So the GPA is important. A GRE has to be taken because it's graduate school. We also hope that the folks have got a passion to work with urban school children, and that could manifest in a variety of ways. If you have been a leader in your church, you'll know something about working with young people. Mm-hmm. So that requirement gets filled in a number of ways. You don't have to have any education credits, and I think that's the biggest point I'd like to make.
You have to have an undergraduate degree,
you
don't have to have
and the rules of our grant says we want that we will serve, we're able to certify folks who have an undergraduate degree in any of the sciences, in political science or history, in English or in math. Now, that's not to say a psychology teacher wouldn't be an amazing, psychology background would be an amazing teacher. They would be. And those folks who come in my door, I send them right down to Nolan Nicholson at Teacher Education Services at ODU. They'll have a path. It won't be this fast track like ours is. It won't be a year done because of the number of requirements that Virginia requires.
Okay. If you're just joining us, we're talking about African American teachers and the ODU Teacher Immersion Residency Program with Program Coordinator Dr. Megan Britt, Norview High School Physics teacher Keith Goodman, Granby High English teacher Cabrillya Crumm, and Tashiana Verna, who teaches chemistry at Norview High School. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Give us a call if you're interested in going back into the classroom. Keith joins us from Norfolk. Hi, Keith. You're on the air.
Hi. Good afternoon, and thank you for this.
You're welcome. What's your comment?
Well, I'm just confused, as I heard earlier one of the teachers speak about knowing the things which are appropriate to say to students. I've been a PTA president 4 times running, and in fact, I am also a military veteran, and I considered for a while the possibility of teaching. In fact, I was on staff at Hampton University for a while. But I'll tell you that as I walk in and out of the schools in this day and time, I see that the window for what is appropriate for teachers to say to students seems to be becoming more and more narrow. So that what results is a type of behavior that's just absolutely astonishing in this day and time. And I see teachers who see students embracing and doing just about anything in the hallways and in the classrooms, and they ignore it because they don't want to say that which is inappropriate. And I think more than anything else, what students look for is some sense of parameters about what's right and wrong. And if they don't get it from their teachers, then where in the world do they get it? They don't get it nowadays from home. So that I think that's part of the problem when you try to get people, especially if you're talking about military people who are all about structure, going into school.
Okay, Keith, thank you. Let's get a response from our panel. Let me add a little bit to what Keith is saying, though, because I'm wondering, and I'm asking you all from your experiences, it is very easy for people who are not in school every day to pick up on one or two things that may happen within a given day or within a given hour, for that matter, and extrapolate that the whole school is just going nuts and that there's no learning going on and teachers aren't teaching and so forth. Is that really the case? Or is learning going on and are we over-exaggerating it some?
Learning is definitely going on. Every classroom I see, learning is taking place. Yes, the challenges are unique and special, and those are things that you deal with, the discipline problems, but learning has to go on. The students have to pass tests. They have to, they have futures that they're striving for, and so learning is definitely going on. And I know that one of the things I was told, starting out is that you shouldn't walk into the classroom expecting to get respect. It's not like it used to be where, all the students say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And everybody's sitting there seeing that's what everybody does. That's not reality. And so you don't walk in expecting that everybody, is going to respect you as the teacher. But I guess the thing is you learn or you earn the respect over time. And that is difficult, I guess, for people that have, coming from military backgrounds where everything is structured and everything is in line. That's not the reality of the classroom. But that's not to say that the students don't respond to you, and it's not to say that learning doesn't take place, because it does.
Mm-hmm. We have a message from our Facebook page. A Facebook fan who went to Poquoson, went to school in Poquoson, says that throughout his high school career, 2004 to 2008, he only saw one black teacher, which was both disappointing and upsetting. Mm-hmm. What's your reaction to that, Cabrillya?
When I was in high school, I don't think I had any black teachers at all. So I definitely can relate to his comment, and I definitely think there needs to be more black teachers in the classrooms. When I was in high school, I wondered why don't I have any black teachers? Why don't I have any teachers that look like me? And I can definitely say, if I had a teacher that looked like me, I would at least maybe communicate more in the classroom or ask for additional help, because sometimes it's hard.
So you think you held back from being as responsive in the classroom?
Yeah, because you don't necessarily want to. When I was in high school, most of the kids in my classroom were white. So a lot of times I didn't want to look like the stereotypical, black kid who didn't know anything. So most of the time, whenever I talked in the classroom, it was whenever I was certain about my answer. So for me, I think having a black teacher there in the classroom is important, because I feel more comfortable with talking to my teacher without having that fear that I'm going to look like a stereotype in the classroom.
If I could jump in here, actually, Cabrillya's experience is actually played out in research, and there have been studies done in the early, I think it was 2004, that showed that students who are taught by teachers of their own race do show achievement gains, and that's fascinating to me. I had never considered that before. And why is it happening? The why isn't fleshed out yet, but the numbers are there. And Cabrillya might just have given us the data that we needed, which was in her qualitative experience.
Yes.
She wasn't going to be the one who showed herself, or to be the person who didn't know, but she would have been more comfortable. Again, most of my teachers were looking just like me, and that's why I am just baffled by the fact that more people don't want to be a teacher. Right. But and I always saw myself doing this, and it was a wonderful experience. But I'll align it to this, if I could make this connection. When I look at Congress, I I feel disenfranchised. They don't look like me. They don't represent me. And for women, I think, when we have that experience, we can go, that's my aha moment. So when I came into this coordinator's position, I was going out and seeing the schools. And for example, in Norfolk, I think it's 43% of the children are African-American. Yeah. And Norfolk does it better than anybody in terms of finding a diverse population of teachers, but it's still majority white. And please hear me when I say I am not in any way blaming the HR directors or the principals who are hiring the staff. I did a little bit of digging, and I found out in Virginia, 2008, there were just over 3,000 education graduates. About 200 of them were black.
Wow.
I mean, the applicants aren't there, so they can't be hired.
Right.
They just can't be hired. And I want to know why. Why is it such a small percentage? This is a great job. You make changes and impressions, and you help grow kids every single day. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Why do you all think?
I kind of had
Tashiana.
a similar experience to Cabrillya. My teachers were very personable, so I was able to develop that relationship with them. But I think it does matter in terms of having, the whole what you be what you can see, because just even now, like a lot of people, and especially the students, they don't really know their purpose. They don't see why they're here. And so because they don't know their purpose, it's hard to really get that across to them. And so being able to say, I know it's tough, I know you have to work, but I had to work too, and I pushed through and I still got the job done. Being able to say and relate to them and from that perspective does make a difference, because it's like, okay, well, she says it's tough, and I know it's going to be tough, but look at where she is.
You're doing it.
So I can stick it out. I can work through it. I can push through it. So it matters.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Erica joins us from Virginia Beach. Hi, Erica. You're on the air.
Hi. Thanks so much for taking my call. I guess I had a question about the program itself. I've heard you mention, political science majors, history majors, things like that. But what about some different majors, some more specific? I mean, I did Asian studies. It has a little bit of everything. I don't know if that's something that could be applied to this kind of program.
Erica, you just send me the transcript, and it doesn't have to be official. We'll take a look and see how well you match up with the state requirements. There are a number of history classes that you get credit for in the elective vein. And if you are part of our program, you get 4 classes, graduate-level classes, that help you finish up the required list from Virginia. So there is an opportunity, even if you don't come in 100% with all boxes checked, you have 4 more chances to get it done and a year's time to do it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Megan.
You're welcome.
Okay, Erica. Hopefully you'll
looking
be
forward
getting
to seeing that application.
Absolutely. So now you said the program only has 1 more year.
And I'm so sad about that.
Is there a possibility of getting an extension on the grant?
Well, if anybody knows Arnie Duncan, would you call him and tell him we want to do this again? He's the Secretary of Education. And you have to understand, I wasn't in on the grant application process, but it was written for 5 years. And my understanding, and this may be limited, is that in January, whether or not the funding is there to continue, we'd have to reapply. And if it is, then I'm 100% going to go for it, because I believe in this program. I think it is the most extraordinary and effective way to prepare teachers. Barbara, I did want to say this. Sure. For all of us who have been in teaching for a long time, we know the game has changed. We used to be able to do it a certain way. Today, you have to be a data analysis expert. You are always crunching numbers. You are trying to realign groups. Our job was hard then. It is harder now. And you can't become a data analysis expert in a traditional path. In 6 weeks of student teaching, you don't know the whole game. We need more time to groom expert teachers. So if ODU doesn't get the funding, I certainly hope that folks across the country will look at a year-long preparation to be a teacher. And that means we're going to have to change the way we train teachers, because you can't expect people to go take full classes and then spend a year to train to be a teacher and not be paid. That's not possible. The reason our graduates are so successful, again, is because they've seen it all from beginning to end. And that's what it takes. When they're hired in the districts in which they serve, the principals come back and say it time and again, it's like getting a second-year teacher. And it is. They are very well trained.
So well trained.
They understand all of the facets of the job. And when you're only getting a wink or a pink, it's just not enough.
Tell me, when you've graduated 29 teachers so
yes,
far?
Approximately 10 a year, and we've always sought to get 15 or more applicants, and we've never made it in terms of the numbers. So again, that's why I wanted to thank you for giving us a forum to get more of the folks out, more of the word out. So if anybody knows someone who's considering the path switch to teaching, this is a possibility.
Now I understand that there was a bidding war with
that's my favorite story.
With your African American students here.
Yeah, there is. And what happens is so unique with our program is that we bring in the principals along with the faculty of the program and the HR directors of Norfolk and Portsmouth, and every single one has access to their application, their essays, everything, the test scores, and they get asked the same set of questions. And once they leave the room, it becomes like the NFL draft. It is, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. And I really wish, as their agent, I could get them paid more. But it's exciting because everyone in that room sees what it takes to be successful in this job. They see it. And that little spark that comes out of the three who are sitting in front of you, it came out so loudly with these folks that they were such in demand. So that I went back to Tashiana's school and I said, Tashiana, I need to know where you came from and I need more people just like you. And she let me to go to Norfolk State, and I spoke to a group there, and we're going to get some new applicants from that direction. I went to Cabrillya and I said, where'd you come from? How did you find us? And she said, UVA. I said, here, tell your advisor all about us. I want more like you, right? I'm willing to do the Underground Railroad to get them in here.
Let's see. Jaron joins us from Virginia Beach. Hi, Jaron. You're on the air.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I have two things to share. I am a teacher, and I have, I guess, some input I would like to share.
Okay.
One thing I think is keeping people out of the classroom is definitely licensure issues. I graduated from Ohio University, got my license through Ohio. After that, I went to South Korea, taught English in South Korea, then followed up by teaching in Montana, and now became a military spouse. And came here. Well, there's licensing issues that's keeping me out of the classroom. Not so much my practice scores are good. My transcripts are really well. It's just licensure. It's a big headache.
Okay, Jaron, let's let Megan respond. We're running quickly out of time, so I'm going to make sure we get a response to his question.
Until that would change at the state level, my hands are tied with that. When I play by the rules that they set, and it's really it's beyond my ability to skirt. I apologize.
And they just, but there are rules that they have to take.
They're there for a reason, and it is to qualify every teacher to be excellent in the classroom.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Russell in Williamsburg. Hi, Russell. You're on the air.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I'd like to agree with the young woman who said, in her experience, not having a black teacher was disquieting to her. But I also think it's the schools can do a better job of having a mentally safe place for people to expose their thoughts and ideas. And it doesn't necessarily require a teacher of the same race. My daughter hated science all through high school. And we all thought she was going to be an English major. And she is a white student, had all white teachers. And then she goes to college, has one good white teacher who can communicate the joy of science, and she's now a fish biologist in Reno.
Yeah. Wow,
so
that's great.
You know, and I was one of the original founding people for a inner city prep school for black students in Providence, Rhode Island, called Community Preparatory School. And these kids are amazing. They're 99% inner city African American students who are turned on to education. And I think it's because they're in a safe environment where they're allowed to express themselves and grow and not be afraid to do that.
Okay, Russell, we're going to have to run because we're running out of time, but thank you for that call. Go ahead, Megan.
I just want to say, I wanted to piggyback on that thought, which is, when I gave the statistic about students have high achievement gains when they're taught by someone of their race, I'm in no way promoting segregation.
No,
okay,
not
we want a diverse staff, because I firmly believe, and I think this is the case, that a great teacher comes no matter what color the skin is. And this is what I mean, that when we had the bidding war for these three had it. They just had that personality that said, I care about kids, and I'm actually excellent at what I do, and I can communicate that. So he's right, a great person to communicate. That's a quality that we want in our teachers. And I think we'll learn just as much in terms of having role models for little white kids. If they see Keith in front of the room teaching physics, they're going to see what's possible for them as well.
Well, the other point also, though, is that they also get to see real life.
You got it.
Because not everyone that they're going to run into
is going to look
just like them. And not everyone they run into is not going to look just like them.
Such a funny story about that. My pediatrician growing up, Dr. Glasgow, was a black woman. I thought all black women were doctors. I didn't know that. I think I was 7 before I figured it out. But it does make a difference. It does give us an idea.
Okay, we've got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to try to get one more call in. John joins us from Norfolk. Hi, John. Very quickly.
A conundrum. I am a retired physician, African-American male, with specialty in radiology. How would you use my skills?
I need to see your transcripts. I need to know, what do you want to teach? I think we start with that, with the passion that you have, and then we'll see how well you match up to state regulations.
John, good luck, and give her a call.
Please do,
never
John.
know. Absolutely. Tell us one more time, Megan, how people can reach you.
On the ODU webpage, if you type in TIR in the search, you'll find us directed to the Darden College of Education, and our particular path is called Teacher Immersion Residency.
Okay, we've got a minute left. I want one line from each of you on why somebody should go in the classroom.
It's very important to go in the classroom because it's important to go into the classroom because, like, with the whole purpose and making that difference, you really get the opportunity to do that in the lives of the students.
Okay, Cabrillya?
If you enjoy laughing and having fun with young people, then come into the classroom.
Okay, and Keith?
If you want to inspire students to do something great with themselves, then this is the place for you.
Fantastic. That is Dr. Megan Britt, who is the program coordinator with the ODU Teacher Immersion Residency Program, along with Norview High School physics teacher Keith Goodman, Granby High School English teacher Cabrillya Crumm, and Tashiana Verna, who teaches chemistry at Norview High. Thank you so much, each of you, and we will be right back.
Thank you.
Up in the morning and out to school. The teacher is teaching the golden rule. American history and practical math. You study them hard and hoping to pass. Working your fingers right down to the bone. And the guy behind you won't leave you alone. Ring, ring goes the bell.
Don't you just love it? Our audio engineer, Perry Smith, is always on time. Representatives from the Attucks Theater's RISE program are still bubbling with excitement after meeting First Lady Michelle Obama and touring the East Wing. RISE was among 12 programs nationwide recently recognized for its effectiveness in developing learning and life skills in young people. Our Lisa Godley takes us behind the scenes for an up-close look at this Norfolk-based program that is now nationally recognized.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
For about 24 J. Cox Elementary School students, once the school day ends, the dance begins.
3, 2, 1. Everybody stand up and together. 5, 6, 7.
These 3rd through 6th graders are mastering some snazzy jazz and hip-hop steps that they'll perform to a fast-moving R&B version of The Little Drummer Boy. 9-year-old Nyasia Hollowell says hip-hop is her favorite.
All right, why do you like hip-hop?
Because it brings out all your dance moves and it makes you want to do it and do it over and over again.
Their after-school training is part of the Rhythm in Setting Expectations program, or RISE, developed by the Crispus Attucks Cultural Center. RISE makes sure children of all ages are able to participate in the arts, regardless of their ability to pay. In addition to dance, RISE offers many disciplines, including music, media arts, and theater. 8-year-old Tamaria Phillips just joined the dance group December 1st.
I like about that I can participate and make my family proud and also make myself proud.
Dance instructor Chanel Bird describes her young proteges this way.
I think they like the performance the best when they get to showcase their talents.
Although she's only been dancing a week, Tamaria already has her sights set on a career in dance.
So where would you like to dance?
I would like to dance in New York and Italy and Chicago.
The executive director of the Crispus Attucks Cultural Center, Gail Easley, says while some RISE students do pursue careers in the arts, many go on to college with other goals in mind.
they pursue other avenues, other career paths in medicine and in business or education. So it's a great foundation just to get kids to find their passion and to find that sweet spot that speaks to them and get them on their way to the path of success.
That path has been paved with some pretty amazing things. Just ask 14-year-old Tiffany Prigram. Tiffany has been a part of the RISE program for 3 years and is now a teaching assistant with RISE. She recently spent part of her day in the East Wing of the White House with First Lady Michelle Obama. Mrs. Obama presented Tiffany with the 2012 National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award to recognize the work RISE does for the Hampton Roads community.
It was just a great experience.
Tiffany says the RISE program has definitely made a difference in her life.
When I first came, I was actually really shy, but now, 3 years later, I have the confidence, I made new friends, I have a stronger body.
Tiffany says working with the younger kids reminds her of herself. She says they have a lot of questions and she just wants to be a role model. Her advice to any young person interested in pursuing the arts or any path their heart truly desires?
If you really want to do it, go for it. Follow your dreams.
Dreams that are now coming true for Tiffany and so many others, thanks to RISE. For Another View, I'm Lisa Godley.
And if you'd like to know more about the RISE program, just log on to our website at anotherviewradio.org. There you'll find the link under the description of today's program. Time now for things to view and do in Hampton Roads.
You will be my Saturday love.
The Norfolk Initiative for Chess Excellence, or NICE, invites you to attend a showing of the movie Brooklyn Castle on Saturday, December 8th at noon, followed by a discussion with one of the stars of the movie. The screening is at the Narrows Expanded Cinema, Colley Avenue, Norfolk. Brooklyn Castle is the story of an inner-city junior high school chess team that has won more national championships than any other in the U.S. Visit nicechess.net for more information. Congressman Bobby Scott wants to hear from his constituents about any voting problems experienced during the 2012 presidential election. He is hosting a forum on Monday, December 10th from 7 until 8:30 p.m. in the Norfolk City Council chambers, Union Street in downtown Norfolk. Call 202-225-8351 for details. The Urban League invites you to its Changing Lives breakfast on Thursday, December 13th at 8:30 at the Chesapeake Conference Center. Call 627-0864 to RSVP. The Hurrah Players present one special showing of The Best Christmas Pageant Ever on Saturday, December 15th at 7 p.m. at the TCC Roper Center in downtown Norfolk. This one-night-only event will be presented along with Happy Hanukkah, My Friend, a short program celebrating the Festival of Lights. Call 627-5437 for ticket information. And Santa Claus is coming to the Accomack Library on the Eastern Shore on Saturday, December 15th from 10 until noon. Each child will receive a book and a candy cane. Call 757-789-7733 to find out more. These and other events are on our website, anotherviewradio.org. And if you'd like to hear today's program again or any other Another View program, you can find the podcast on our website. Go ahead and share the experience with your friends. Next week, the December edition of the Another View Roundtable. Need I say more? Because we all know how the roundtable is. And I'd like to take just a moment to say thank you to those who nominated me for the Inside Business Top 25 Women in Business Award. I will be receiving that award this coming Monday evening at the Norfolk Marriott, and I am humbled and deeply, deeply grateful. So thank you for that. For producer Lisa Godley, audio engineer Perry Smith, Eric Moore, who answered our phones, and I think this is Eric's last day with us as an intern here at Another View. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Have a fantastic weekend, and let's get together again next Friday at noon for Another View.